Welcome back to Jost on Unboxing. I've had a half decent day. I hope you have too. A cup of tea on the go, or a mug of tea on the go here, so bear with me for a second. Not bad. I'm a bit of a tea snob. I've got to make it. I like tea. But if I don't make it, if someone else makes it, I'm fussy. I'm like, I ain't got enough sugar in, milk's put in too much, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's by the by. Let's talk a bit of boxing here, and I want you to cast your mind back to November 2016, and there was a fight between George Groves and Eduard Gutknect of Germany, and it ended rather tragically because Gutknect he lost a decision. He was seriously injured, suffered serious brain damage, and has never been the same since. And as usual, when these things happen, you know, life-changing injuries, it affects the family, and who's going to foot the bill for this guy's care for the rest of his life? So what you had was Gutknect's family taking out some litigation against the British Boxing Board of Control, which has kind of flown under the radar. I haven't heard much about this. But they hired a legal firm called Field Fisher, and the case this week was settled. And there was an element of compromise to it, but they kind of reached an agreement, shall we say. Let's put it that way. What Gutknect will receive in terms of damages was not disclosed, will not be disclosed. But if you go on Field Fisher's website, there is a case study of what happened. In fact, I'm going to read you some chunks out of this write-up on what happened. It'll tell you a little bit about the case itself and about what's happening with Eduard, and you know, before and after the fight, and you know, during the fight, and so on and so forth. So anyway, it begins. It says, a compromise in Keith Barrett's damages claim against the British boxing regulator, that's the Board of Control, on behalf of German boxer Eduard Gutknecht, was approved in the High Court recently. During the case, Keith sought factual and expert evidence in the UK and Germany. Mr. Gutknecht, now 39, was catastrophically injured and left in a coma after a WBA International Super Middleweight title fight against George Groves in London in November 2016. Details of the agreement between the two parties are confidential at the request of the defendant. That's the Board of Control. But the court heard the extent of Mr. Gutknecht's physical and mental injuries, and that the British Boxing Board of Control accepted in its response to the claim that it owed Mr. Gutknecht a duty of care when he arrived in the UK from Germany 2 days before the fight. Mike Rawlinson QC, on behalf of the family, laid out the details of how Mr. Gutknecht came to suffer an extensive subdural hematoma, which has left him lacking capacity and with extensive acquired neurological deficit. Serious brain damage. He told the court that in previous fights, Gutknecht had acquired objectively visible changes to his brain, but the British Boxing Board of Control's rules allowed it to accept a certificate of health from the German boxing regulator. He added that the British Boxing Board of Control deny that the scope of the duty of care is that they should undertake their own imaging of a foreign boxer's brain. So let me repeat that bit again. The British Boxing Board of Control deny that the scope of the duty of care is that they should undertake their own imaging of a foreign boxer's brain. In other words, they're reliant on scans from third parties, presumably reputable third parties. I would assume that they will do their due diligence and check that those scans are legit, you know, and done by the right qualified people. But yeah, moving on. Mr. Gutknecht has trouble communicating and mobilising and will always need full-time care and help with daily life. The judge acknowledged the ongoing support provided to him by his wife and sister Irina, also his litigation friend. Following approval, Irina spoke about the terrible difficulties the family faced to find the funds to fully support Eduard with adapted accommodation and ongoing therapies. Eduard currently attends a workshop for the disabled during the day, but the rest of the time is looked after by his wife and sister, who both work and bring up 7 children between them. They've got their hands full. Moving on, Irina said that Eduard needs constant reminding of how to perform daily tasks such as cleaning his teeth, and will never be able to work or live alone. He is currently able to walk a few steps unaided. So that was five and a bit years ago. And that's where Eduard Gutknect is at the moment. So that was the, like I say, Field Fisher is the legal firm. They deal with, you know, damages for people who've been injured in the course of their work. And that was the decision. So I just hope, I know they haven't disclosed what the amount is, I just hope that Eduard Gutknect has got a big fat chunk of money to help him, and more specifically the people looking after him, to help with his care. As always, this is an example of what boxers give us. So the next time you're tempted to call a fighter a coward or make some bullshit nonsense about him ducking someone, or how he's, you know, he's a fraud and all this, you know, have a think. Never mind what you feel. Think. Tell us what you think. Because these guys give us everything, don't they? In some cases, they really do give us everything. So that's Eduard Gutknect. I hope he's happy. I hope he's comfortable. And God bless the, you know, what is it, his sister and his wife. When you marry someone, you don't expect it to end up like that, do you? And you don't expect a family member to suffer that sort of injury, but he did. That's where he's at. And British Boxing Board of Control. Yeah. I actually think their safety measures are very, very good. Following, again, I'm old enough to remember the Michael Watson incident, and things were greatly improved after that, especially with regards to having the amount of doctors on site, ambulances ready to take you straight with a pre-arranged route to a specific neurological unit at specific hospitals. All this stuff was worked out. It wasn't the Michael Watson incident. I think Michael was taken to a hospital that didn't even have a neurology unit. So they learned from that very bad set of mistakes. But I suppose the nature of the sport is that people will be injured, and it's a great shame. But anyway, tell me what you think. Do you remember that fight? Sad one, wasn't it? But all respect to Eduard Gutknect. All the best to him. And leave your comments below if you've got any. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you're new to the channel, you could subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Don't cost you anything. Just takes a second. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And of course, take care of yourselves. We'll speak again sometime sooner rather than later. Bye for now.